Here we have a 12-string guitar. I remember when I was a teenager, you couldn't buy them in the stores, and they were quite rare at that time. So somehow I found one of these, the top end of a long dead 12-string from the 1920s. And I tried to screw it onto the neck of a regular guitar and put in twice as many strings. I was trying to create a 12-string, and it wasn't going to happen because although I lived long enough to make a few good instruments, of fiddles and mandolins, I was unaware of the laws of physics, and there's a huge amount of tension when you put 12 strings onto a box, and this thing had better hold up, and this thing did not hold up, which is why I was able to get this in the pawn shop for $120. I think it was cheap, because the instrument may be cheap to start with, but the bridge was pulling off, because these strings night and day are there's yanking on there saying come on, come on. And I fixed it. It didn't take me that long, and then I had to work on some of these rattles. So what if there's a rattle there? Who plays there anyway? It's like having 120 miles per hour on the speedometer in your car. You could do it, but why would you want to? So the neat thing about 12-string guitars is that they're a wonderful gimmick, and I don't know anybody who habitually plays a 12-string. But for a certain kind of song, it's good. Didn't the Beatles have a song that sounded like...
It is more likely to be the Beatles than the Stones.
The Beatles were playing around with this thing back in the 60s. And then they became popular again, and so the guitar makers started making them right and left. And this thing was made in Indonesia. But if you have a teenage kid the way we once did, he's going to come to you someday and say, "Oh, Dad, I just have to have a 12-string guitar. It's the greatest thing in the world." And I'd say, "Well, you already got a 6-string. What's your problem?" He says, "Well, it's wonderful, and I'll play it every day of my life. So please buy me one." And you buy it for the kid, saying, "I know you're not going to play this forever." And he says, "Oh, I'll play it forever." The kid plays it for 1 weekend and it goes in the back of the closet and stays there. So this one had been in the back of somebody else's closet, and I bought it at the pawn shop cheap because this part was failing, and I just fixed it. Now the interesting thing about 12 strings is that you would think that since the bottom strings are arranged into octaves, that's an octave, you know what that is? It's the note that sounds just the same, but one's higher than the other. So far, we've gone up 4 of the 6 identity strings in pairs, with the octaves being higher. Trouble is, they don't make strings thin enough to continue that all the way up to here. And so stupidly, the beautiful octaves get out, leaving us with something that sounds sort of stupid, because if I wanted to play the Tennessee Waltz here, I lost it, see? There it came back. And that's dumb, but I don't know what the cure would be. Probably the cure would be to get rid of these pairs of 2 high ones, move everything 2 strings that way toward the floor, and put on some really, really low strings here where you could accomplish the octave. It would almost be like bass strings. Now, why don't we do that? Anyway, I'll do it as soon as I finish teaching, which I may never finish.